Hi everybody, this is Jekyl. I have a game that I would like to share with you all today. It is, I don't know if it's my best game, but it is a game that I played fairly recently that I thought was pretty unique and a lot of fun for several reasons that I would like to share with you. Just to give a little background of myself, I am a longtime Euro strategy tabletop board gamer. I've played a lot of different board games with my husband, Mr. Fickles. The game that we played the most is actually Agricola. We played a lot, but always in person. And maybe 5 years ago, we played 10 or so games of Terra Mystica. It always stood out as a very fun game with a lot of depth. And so, I mean, we hadn't really played it in the interim, but when COVID hit and we were no longer able to play with friends, Mr. Fickles kind of started playing online to get his board game fix. And he convinced me to also start playing. And he was like, you should give turn-based a try. It's a lot of fun and you probably like it. So I did, and I haven't gone back. This is actually the game that I'm sharing with you today is a turn-based game that I played with Simone B, Bisigoa, and Mellison. The four of us have a ongoing game. We're always we always play games together. We have like 15 or so games. We're very well balanced, evenly matched table of all experts in the upper 500 to 600 range, which makes for very good, interesting, fun games that are often very tricky. I would say because at this point we've played so many, we've kind of become a lot more experimental. So we'll often have some pretty bizarre matchups, and we like to play kind of the lesser played factions, and some 4 in a rows, which makes for very tricky auctions. This was one of those on base map, I mean. So let's get into it. All right, looking at the track, looking at 4, 5, 6, round 4 TPs, which is a great time for TPs. Most factions can really kind of devote energy to getting their TPs out. Immediately followed by dwellings is pretty ideal. You know, you've freed up dwellings, you have coins, you still have some worker economy from, you know, having built up a lot in the first 3 rounds. So you're probably able to get like 4 or 5, maybe 6 like dwellings out, and all to prepare for round 6, which is big building. Admittedly, not a great like a big point getting round, but you know, it's a good time to finish up any towns, tie up loose ends, you know, upgrade ship, do what you need to do, often requiring like a lot of resources at that point. So 4, 5, 6, you know, this is pretty great scoring. And then if we look at the scrolls, we see all 4 scoring tiles, as well as the dig scroll and the 6 money scrolls, which are probably, you know, the best 2 scrolls for like, you know, a high scoring game besides like the main 4 scoring tiles. So the scrolls that are missing are, of course, temp ship, priest, and 4 coins in a cult step. So pretty good money, coins on the scrolls, very good workers on the scrolls, and you know, good power. So so it's a pretty great setup. So I see this and I think, you know, especially with like big buildings last round and dwellings first round, I think mermaids. So that is what I put in. followed by Mellison putting in nomads and Auren giants. Of course, Simone B has to put in giants. So looking at these four, of course, I think mermaids are like pretty good. They can do a nice dwelling rush. They're going to, like, if we look at how the scrolls will shake out, giants will get big building, Auren will get the dig scroll, nomads will get most likely 3 power and a worker, and mermaids will get 3 power and ship points. They kind of need to get that to make sure they get double dig, because there will be some contention between mermaids and Auren in this area. So they kind of need to ensure double dig, and by taking, so, you know, 6 power, 6 coins will probably most likely be left. So yeah, mermaids game plan looks pretty good. They're probably, you know, without temp ship, they can't do a full on dwelling rush, but they'll be able to get 2 out and a temple probably. And then, you know, because big building, there's 2 rounds of that, so they won't feel that pressure to get either a sanctuary or a stronghold out. Like mermaids are very happy to wait till round 6 for that. So yeah, their plan looks pretty straightforward. You know, ship scroll is in. Hopefully they can get a good chunk of passing points from that. And yeah, it's pretty straightforward, good mermaids track. As far as nomads go, like, you know, it's pretty similar game plan, except, you know, I think they would very much like to get their stronghold out round 2. And they'll put in quite a bit of effort, I think, to kind of ensure that. Auren, the game plan is not quite so clear. You know, they're hopefully going to get, you know, 2, maybe 3 towns, but they're not really going to have like tons of leech in the east, although they will have nice easy access to their town in the east towards the end. Like, but the problem with this town is that it's, you know, you have to single dig it, dig. It's not like you're going to be able to double dig it. And of course you need a lot of digs as green on this map. And then giants, you know, I think like with the starting placements that, you know, with nomads going here, and probably here to kind of prevent like giants getting this easy sanctuary town, and then with nomads kind of grabbing territory up here, it's going to be fairly tricky for giants. So they are going to be the 30-point faction here. And so for a while, over the course of a few days, I'm sure, the 4 of us bid down mermaids and nomads. Mellison and I going hard on mermaids, Simone B. Bisa going on nomads. I'm pretty sold on mermaids at this point, and but you know, after a while, like I start thinking about Auren, and here I'm thinking like with the dig scroll, it would be really great to do like a, you know, a pretty serious dwelling rush, maybe, you know, not a full-on one without temp ship, but, you know, one, if you can get a priest and upgrade ship, you can, you know, you start here and here, you'll use the dig scroll on this gray in the east, and then you'll have access to these 2, so you'll be able to put down 4 dwellings in the dwelling round, and then aim for the stronghold in round 2. That's kind of my plan. I think it's pretty solid. And Simone B jumps on giants. So the placements kind of, they do happen as I expected. The only kind of curveball being that nomads do not start with their 3rd placement in the center here. They start up in the north next to me, which is understandable. I guess, they're pretty concerned about giants kind of, nomads would really like to have a town or two somewhere in the north here. And if they start here in the center to kind of prevent the giants town, there's a good chance, they're not going to be able to get the two ship because, they want to be putting priest to cult, especially with like this earth coin reward in round 3. Like they're not going to be like racing to two ship since it doesn't help them a whole lot besides getting this one yellow. So I guess like by starting here, you're kind of guaranteeing like some northern presence. But now I'm looking at this, and if I do my dwelling rush now, Simon B gets a really easy, nice sanctuary town in the center here, which might be too good for him. So he takes big building, I take dig, nomads take 3 power and a worker, and mermaids get ship points as expected. Here, right, upgrade, and maybe this was like an unnecessary risk. I probably should have just taken priest at this point, but I don't know. I mean, I know that mermaids want to double dig. Who knows what nomads want to do? It's not like getting a priest and putting it to water is like that helpful. Like, and they're going to be able to get either fire or earth next round. I don't know if they want to like use their power on a priest. And yeah, I think Simon B wants to keep it pretty flexible. So I think that priest is pretty safe, but I also, in kind of choosing to upgrade, I actually upgrade before taking priest. I'm trying to a little bit play mind games with Simon B and try to like maybe make him think that I'm still using the dig scroll on this gray, that he's not going to get this town, right? So then maybe he'll decide to like upgrade in the south. I don't know. That's what I was thinking. It did not have that effect. He upgrades the northern one next to mermaids, and I don't get the leech from him. Whatever, that's fine. It's fine. My priest does remain safe for me. Mellison double digs as expected. He takes the black, which makes sense. He doesn't want to allow nomads to kind of have access to that black, and it's not like he's going to, I guess if he decided to dig this, he would be able to dig the green, he would be able to put down one more dwelling, but then at the expense of a temple, and a temple is definitely better in this situation. So Bisa decides to single dig the brown here. My guess is it's a pretty good leech spot, right? It would have been better if it was, before all of us upgraded, but it will get some leech still, especially if somebody's going to build on this gray. And then by building on this, by single digging this brown, he does leave himself the option of like towning with a bridge over here at some point, maybe like down the road if it's still available. So it's all good. I take priest now. Which, again, I'm actually still undecided at this point if I want to allow Simon B this town. He takes power, or sorry, he takes coins. So, I can still actually upgrade ship, dig this gray, and put down 2 dwellings and do a temple. The reason that I actually decide not to go that way and stick to my original plan of, dwelling rush with the TP, so put down 4 dwellings, is if I do the temple route, I think that getting my stronghold out in round 2 becomes a lot harder, because yes, I will have 4 worker income, but I need 6 because I would need to TP and then big building. And that would have to happen on this gray because I have, I guess I could do it up here in the north, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, okay, I could do it in the north, but I would actually really like to get Simone B's big building tile for next round. And if I do this temple and then work dig scroll this gray dwelling, I'm not going to have enough moves to last out Simone B because he will then probably bridge across to this gray and stomp it, build it, prevent me from getting the big building, which I really want. So that's another reason that I stick with my dwelling rush plan. Bisigoa passes. What does he pass on to? Coins, of course. He would really also like to get the big building, his stronghold out in round 2. And he definitely has enough for that. And at this point, I do have a small niggling kind of fear in the back of my mind about this black being potentially like under threat from nomads. Just kind of thinking about it in the background. Okay, Malison passes onto dwellings. Yeah, Simone B is pretty happy. He's going to get his nice, easy center town. But he does pass, and I go onto the big building scroll. Great. Everything's going according to plan. I'll have 4 coins next round, plus a bunch of power. So yeah, I think I'm planning on a pretty quick round. The following round is dig points, and I would really like to have the dig scroll for that. So my plan is just to big building, do my 2 steps, pass. I guess I use a power and a worker. Yeah, I actually convert 1 worker to coins for that to afford my stronghold. Right, so then I am faced with this decision. I always forget that the Auren stronghold comes with a favorite tile. So, I just finished a pretty substantial dwelling rush, and so I'm not in any real straits to like take Earth 1. There's no real reason for that. Water 1, I'm not building any TPs for a while yet, so I'm not taking that. Water 2 doesn't make a whole lot of sense since there's no water reward, like water cult rewards. And not only that, like I don't love having the constriction of having to take 2 steps and 1 step. It's just like too many moves for me. Like as Auren, I don't love having water 1 or water 2. Fire 1 is always like a good option. It's not a super coin type game, but it's always good. The only problem was that like with Earth coin rewards in round 3, I'm planning on using my 2 steps on Earth for the next 2 rounds. So going up on fire doesn't get me anything. And on top of that, Air 2 is my favorite favor. I just love having a lot of power. I love being flush with power and like having that flexibility. And then again, like with green and blue on this, or not blue, I guess it's just mermaids. Mermaids and the green factions, they just need so many digs, especially if like you're wanting to get like the 3 towns. This is just a lot of digging, and to have the flexibility of Air 2 in like a game where like I don't think double dig is going to be contested much, with like nomads building their stronghold early, giants having their giant stomp, like So it'll just be like mermaids and I like kind of duking it out over who gets the double dig. And like, you can either, when you have like this lovely power flow, like I have my stronghold out already. So I'm guaranteed 6 power every round. I can use that as coins. I can use that to dig. Like I just love having Air 2. They're my favorite kind of game, and you don't need to give me much excuse to go Air 2. As flimsy as like, you know, digs in round 4 from Air is, like that's enough. I'm sold. Air 2 it is. So that's what I do. And look at that. I just love seeing that 6 power next round. So I'm going to do my, okay, so Melison has upgraded to 2 ship and he's going to put down a dwelling. Simone B has decided to give me some power. I take it. I go up on Earth and of course, again, here's Bisegoa starting his stronghold process. And now I am pretty worried about my black here. But there's not a whole lot I can do about it, so. Except Simone B decides to give me 3 more power, so now I have 6 power in bowl 3, and I do have the option to double dig right now. If I look at what, so Malison has just passed onto ship points again. These two still have a bunch of moves, like, Simone B is still has his Giant Stomp. Nomads are going to build and then still Sandstorm. So like I can still pass on to Dig Scroll easily and do my double dig. And I basically didn't want to decide so for the whole day I just had this decision just weighing on my mind. And then, right before bed I was like, okay, just like make the decision and decide. So I do pass. I decide that I want to get my digs. So it looks like, so first of all, Mellison, he only has 1 coin and 8 workers. So like it's pretty clear that he's going to take coins first move, which means I do get to double dig. So I can either double dig now to kind of ensure this black, or I can wait till next round and double dig for 4 points, probably at the expense of this black. But I decide that I want the points more, and I can still kind of probably eke out a 3rd town in the north here, like with the bridge, which is not ideal, but so it goes. And then here another bridge town, and then of course this town. So like I can still do my 3 towns. This would have to be a sanctuary town. This would have to be I probably have to double dig this black. It's a lot of digging. It's not ideal, admittedly, but I don't know. I decide to risk it. I want those points. So I go to sleep. This is what happens. I make a decision right before I go to bed, and then I just like leave it up to whoever's going next to kind of make or break my day. I wake up to see that Bisegoa has not dug my black. He's instead decided to dig this black over here. I guess I wasn't very sure. I never asked him why he did that instead of this black. Maybe he thought that mermaids were going to dig this black and then he would be forced to do a sanctuary town here. Or maybe he wanted easy access to double dig if it fell to him. Like, he can dig this brown and dig this red in one fell swoop. If by some chance it falls to him. Maybe that's what he was thinking. In any case, that was a real boon. Left me the black. One thing is like, with turn-based, you wake up in the morning and, I have like 5 games usually going, and it's like my turn in a bunch of them. And I've learned my lesson to not immediately make moves upon waking. Like, sometimes I've got multiple like games of the same faction. Like I've had, periods where like it's a bunch of witches game and like I wake up and it's really, I'm like bleary eyed and like barely cogent and like I have to make a decision and like I'll get confused between like several witches games or like multiple darklings games and like, I've paid the price of like making some silly decision when I'm not even coherent. So Malison, as expected, did take coins. So I get to double dig on this black, which is really great. It's 4 points and it's going towards my town. Bisa decides to single dig the brown. What is Mombi doing? He's going to town up. He's going to sanctuary town up. So he takes ship points or ship town. And I think he takes water 1 here. Yeah. So Simonbi is off to a really great start. He's got, oh geez, I can't see the points, but it's a lot. He has a lot of points, like a pretty substantial lead on the 3 of us. He's got a ship, he's got his town, and now I have to like scramble to make sure that he's not going to like somehow ruin my towns. So this blue is of course pretty critical. So I use my dig scroll on that. Okay. And of course, because I also have a ship, Simone B is going to be pretty concerned for this green. Everybody's just digging. At this point, I'm sitting on a lot of workers and I am not one to shy away from hard digging. So I'm kind of planning on hard digging, but I also see that next round is TP round. And here's the TP scroll sitting here with 3 coins, which is super juicy. I would love to land on that, but of course, I've got a lot to do still. I have to take my 2 steps. I maybe hard dig. I would happily pass on the hard dig, of course, for the TP scroll. That does not happen, however, because Mellison takes the TP scroll. So I go up on Earth and what's Bisa doing? What did he just do? Oh, he also goes up on Earth. Yep, he wants Earth coins. What does Simone be? Oh, he passes. Okay. All right, so at this point, I'm thinking I could pass. I suppose I could pass onto big building. I could pass onto ship. Like I have a ship, so that's 3 points there. That's 4 points there. But I could also happily pass onto dwelling. So might as well just do my hard dig and get some points. I'm pretty happy with any of those scrolls. So yeah, I hard dig that. So Bisa passes on to 3 power and a worker. So I have my pick of scrolls. And I do decide to take dwelling scroll, which ends up being a mistake. I kind of didn't take into account the fact that it's TP round. So like all these dwellings that I see not all of them will be here at the end of the round. And it turns out I actually should have taken the big building. It would have been more points and it's the equal number of resources, right? Two coins here, 2 workers there. They're pretty equivalent. All right. So at this point, it's TP round. Melison's looking pretty solid. Like he's got the TP scroll, he's got a bunch of resources. His talons are kind of, you can see where they're going to happen, like in the typical mermaid spots. Simone B, of course, I wish I could see his points total, but it's just like a lot. I just remember him being in the lead the whole game. And it's not like my cult presence is looking very good. I don't even have a temple yet. I would really like to get a temple at some point here. I'm thinking I could get water 1, ideally before I build a bunch of TPs. And I actually should have thought about this and actually use my cult steps here first, because I really need my temple to be on here, on this town right here, because this is going to be my sanctuary town. So I would like to TP temple first. I don't know why. Maybe it was a move I did first thing in the morning. I can't remember. But I should have just gone up on air to get my air dig and then waited to see if I can get a neighbor. But instead I TP in the north, which is a slight error on my part. Because now getting water 1 doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And there is my neighbor. So yeah, if I had just waited 1 turn, if I had just done my 2 steps first, I would have been able to temple in the south. So that was silly. So instead, I just punt on that and decide I'm just going to make this a TP round. And I'm really planning on having like a big dwelling round 5. So like, I would like to pass on. I'm going to get a dig at the end of this round, so I'll dig this gray. I'll have this one. I would like to get the dig scroll for this blue hex, and then single dig or hard dig, either of those, and then so build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dwellings next round. And at this point, I'm hoping now to get Earth 1. I'm thinking I would like to pass on to the dig scroll. Yeah, like I could get one of these other point scrolls, but I think that I really need to kind of like, if I want these 3 towns to happen, I really need to make an effort and make sure like the digging happens. And unfortunately with this town here, I can't double dig. So like this kind of hard dig that I did up here kind of ended up being also a bit of an error, because like if I had done it here, then I could have double dug here and here, but unfortunately I can't do that. So yep, I go up on air, and I'm trying to like figure out like tempo for passing, but like really like nobody else wants the dig scroll, so I don't know why I was so like caught up with this. So I would like to have 3 TPs out, because I really need like some coin income in order to get these dwellings out and build a temple. So I have these 3 TPs. I could pass now. I'm getting 10 power next round. So like, yeah, my coin situation is fine, but I'm also just like really flush with power. So that can always be coins. So Mellison is also starting to carve out his 3rd town. And now I'm seeing Mellison building up his TPs in the center here, and Bisa has taken this green, which is like typically, like the mermaid town is like here with a bridge. But he's still, and like that didn't work out, but he's still kind of building up his TPs, which suggests that he wants this town with a bridge and one of these blues, one of these dwellings. Which, and then I'm also seeing that Simone B might want a bridge town here. So like, yeah, I'm getting like slightly concerned about like bridge pressure. Simone B is the first to pass. I see that Bisa has double dug these two, so he's going to give me a neighbor for this dwelling, which I wasn't expecting, but that's pretty great. But at this point, he's towned up and he's taken Coin Town, and like, yeah, like I think he's probably going to build a dwelling and a TP here, but there's also this, you know, because I was planning on next round building a temple and getting Earth One, but I'm getting a little bit concerned about that, just because he can actually afford to build a temple, and then like, you know, if I pass on to dig, he can take the 6 coins and he will actually have like pretty good coins, you know, and he'll have Earth One. He's planning on building like a good number of dwellings here, clearly. So like, I'm getting pretty concerned. I really need a temple. I really need Earth One. So I decided to just hurry up and temple now, which does cut into my coin income. Because, you know, I was just planning on passing earlier with 3 TPs out, but then I just like, I can see, oh, I can still actually afford a temple, TP. Ah, there's my Earth One. Which is pretty lucky that I had access to that. I mean, nomads normally really like having Earth One. Neighbor, so I can build my TP in the north there, and then I'll be able to next round build a dwelling and immediately town up, which is great. So now I'm like resting pretty easy. I have Earth One, like, you know, this town is pretty safe. This one, as long as I get a bridge, should be fine. And then I think I should be able to get that town out. All right. So Beast is building out a couple more TPs. Mellison, oh, 4 for 1 or 4 for 3. Yeah, I declined that. Okay. All right, so I pass. Unfortunately, yeah, it's kind of a bummer that I was building out my TPs. So like gaining 3 points, but like losing a point. It's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, kind of like that. So yeah, I only passed for 3 points, which is kind of a bummer. But there's my, and I'm not even getting a points growth for like the dwelling round. So it's a little concerning, although like, you know, my points look fine. I'm pretty like in line with mermaids and nomads. At this point, yeah, I'm like, I think that mermaids look really good. You know, they just passed for 6 points. They don't have water one, so like it wasn't like the huge round that that I was kind of expecting, but it was a very solid turn for them. Right. So now like Bisa also like doing building his TPs here does seem like he's trying to do some kind of bridge town here, but you know, Mellison passing first, I think it's pretty clear that he's going to double dig this gray. And I'm going to get my bridge because Simone B is going to take coins. See, it went up air. All right, so I take my spade in this town, on this town here in the east. Oh, I get my bridge. So I'm just like getting my ducks in a row. Yeah, at this point, I'm a little bit like, I really want single dig. I don't think anybody else really wants it. Like, yeah, at this point, nomads shouldn't take single dig. So I think it's pretty safe. I also have to keep an eye on Simon B to make sure he's not going to like ruin my town here. He only has one ship. All right, so yeah, I'm just chugging along, building my dwellings. It's going to be like a pretty long round for me, clearly. But I'm not too worried because there's 4 point scrolls and I'm the only one on a non-point scroll. So that means that like if I'm the first one to pass, then somebody's missing out. But if anybody else passes first, then everybody's happy with the point scroll in the last round. All right, so Simone B still at 1 ship. He's come up, given me neighbor. You know, originally I thought that I was going to town with Fire 2 here, but since this is pretty much already like a 7 power town, and then with, you know, a TP here, and so that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then if I dig this somehow, that'll be a 7 power town. So I think I don't need Fire 2 at this point, which is great. There's my single dig. Great, Simone B still at 1 ship. My town in the north is pretty safe. Oh yeah, I missed the part where Melisande did double dig this. So Bisa is now trying to carve out a 3rd town here, a sanctuary town. So I guess Simone B has like pretty, like really easy access to this red. So Simone B has just upgraded to 2 ship. I build my dwelling and complete a town, and I take the 8 point town. I'm really hoping to get the other 8 point town, which like if you can get both, right, it's better than the 2 key town and the 11 point town combined, because that's you know, the same 2 steps on each with 13 points versus 16 points. So you get 3 points more by taking the 2 8 point towns. So I'm hoping that I get both of those. I think it's late in the game enough that nobody wants the 2 key. So like, you know, nobody's going to make some crazy dash for cults. All right, so I use my dig scroll, and let's look at everybody's situation. So nomads have 1 priest left. Mermaids have a dwelling, or sorry, a worker. And Simone B has his stomp still. So I've got some stuff to do. Like I want to build these out. I haven't even taken my 2 steps. I'm going to be very late to pass. Bisa, what does he do? Oh, he turns his priest into a worker and he builds a dwelling. Okay. Simone B is still building. He's got a lot to build still. All right, so there's my last dwelling for the round. Everything's going according to plan. This is pretty great. So Malison ends up being the first to pass onto dwellings. Bisa passes onto ship. So at this point, I start thinking, you know, where do I want to put my steps? And this is like where I make a somewhat like I think it was a pretty big mistake. I was pretty kicking myself for it. I'm not very accustomed to playing Auren. Like I don't know. I'm just generally I'm not a great cult player, so I didn't quite take into account like I'm sitting here on a priest. I'm getting a priest next round, but I'm like I need to upgrade ship 2 more times. So these priests are like, you know, their hands off. Like I can't use these is what I'm thinking. So I'm like, do I put my two steps on earth or do I put them on air? If I put them on earth, then like Bisa first round or first move next round, um, you know, I think that Malison might take coins. I mean, yeah, he has 12 coin income. He does need a priest, but I'm like, what if he takes coins? If he takes coins, then Bisa will probably he's going to temple either for Fire 2 or Fire 2, which gets him a town immediately. I think he'll probably take the 8-point town, which gets him to the 8 spot on Earth. And then the move after that, like, he can just win Earth. And he goes before me, so like it just makes everything really tricky. I was just like thinking all this. So I decided that going up on air is like safer. But I didn't take into account the fact that when I go up on air, I get 2 power and like, guess what? I can just take another priest. Like I'm, you know, like at this point, like I have too much power as it is actually. Right? So like if I'm on the 7, like getting 10 power, I'm not even going to be able to use all of that. So like I could have just if I just put my priest to cult now, which I actually could have done the same things on Earth and won Earth, which is like I think a lot more at risk of me losing losing like Earth to Bisa than I am to losing air to Malison, if that makes sense. It's kind of convoluted. Yeah, so basically what I did on air, I should have done on Earth is kind of the mistake that I made. Because I put my priest to air here. Simone B passes and I get the big building scroll, which is great. That's exactly what I want. I put my priest on air, I win it, and then with that I can get priest and make sure that I have enough to ship next round for shipping increases. Yeah, so I thought that was a pretty big mistake. But, you know, fortunately, actually, like, let's backtrack. So to think about next round, I need a sanctuary here, I need a temple here, or sorry, a teepee here, and I need to 3 worker dig and a dwelling. So that's 4 workers, 6 workers, plus 3 is 9, and then 10 for another dwelling. So I need 10 workers. I have 9 plus the 2 from my stronghold scroll. So I have enough workers. I do need a lot of coins. So I need 8 for my sanctuary. Gosh, that's expensive. So 8 plus 3, 11, plus 2, 13, plus another 8 for shipping. What did I say? So that's 21 coins, and it's not quite enough. So I have 8 here, and I'll have 6 here. So I have 14 coins. I need to somehow find 6 more. Actually, 5 more, because I actually have 1 extra worker. But that's a lot of coins that I still need to find somewhere. So I pass on to big building, and moment of truth, Malison does take the bridge, and Bisa could still decide that he's going to, you know, fire 2 here and take the 1 on each, which like the 1 on each is what I really need in order to win Earth like in one fell swoop without like letting Bisa Goa get it. He takes money though, so I'm very happy. And now I have 16, so I got some power, which is like I'm accepting all the power I can at this point. All right, so I do my town. I take Earth 3. All right, first I take my 1 on each, so it gets me to the 7th spot. With Earth 3, I can get to the 10th spot, which is great. So let's see how much. All right, so I still need a TP and a dwelling, so that's 5 plus 8 for my shipping, so I need 13 coins still. I have 11, and then for the worker I have 12. So I just need 2 more power. What did I say? Yeah. 2 more power. I just need 2 more power. I'll find that. I'll get that. All right, so the problem is, of course, that yes, I got the 2 8-point towns, which is great, but all the other good towns are getting snatched up. Lisa Fire 2. And he takes the priest town. So at this point, you know, I've won 2 cults. It looks like, you know, nomads are definitely going to win network. It looks like I'm going to get second, and I don't think that Malison can get, he can't build, he definitely wants to build his stronghold, but he can't build his stronghold 2 TPs and 2 dwellings to catch me for second on network, because I'm definitely building this TP and a dwelling for my town. And likewise with Simon B, he is going to town up here. But I don't think he has enough red hexes to kind of catch me also on network. So network is looking good, cults are looking good. Simon B, oh, I wish we could see his puts. He is way ahead. So he is my biggest competition. I'm trying to see if there's any way for me to like do a little bit better on water. So I have this idea that I'm going to, let's see. So Simon B towns up, of course, and he takes the 11-point town. So the best town left to me at this point is the 2 worker town, and oh yeah, I have my 2 cult steps. So I actually have enough power and enough money to do everything that I need to do. So getting this these 2 workers on from my town doesn't help me like at all. It doesn't even get me a point. It's 2/3 of a point. I'm like, you know, that's not really going to help me at all. So I'm kind of a little bit hoping I can somehow get another priest to put to water and tie Simon B, because Simon B is going to, he's going to be doing something with that power. What did, okay. I don't know what town he took here. Actually, no, that's not that town. Well, anyway, towns are being taken. Towns are being built. Oh, Bisa, oh, okay, it's the big building. So he builds his sanctuary, he gets Air 1. So Simon B as Giants is able to get another priest, and looks to me like he's going to be like putting those to water. So I decide I'm taking unnecessarily stupid risk here. And I 5 power priest for some reason before, so I take a power town. I kind of calculated it all out so that like I know that I can 5 power priest and still afford everything as long as I'm able to get my priest to water. Because I absolutely need 2 power. Like, I'm gonna get 2 power from my 2 cold steps, but I need another 2 power in order to afford everything. And yeah, I shouldn't have taken that risk. I should have just taken the money first to make sure I can absolutely upgrade ship all the way. So that was a very bad, risky mistake. It does end up being okay because so like the risk is that everybody, like the next 3 players, you know, Mellison, Simone B, and Bisa all decide to put their priest to water. I mean, I don't think Bisa is going to because he's sitting on the ship scroll. He's going to upgrade ship, but like it could happen. It could very well happen, and I would be in pretty big trouble, like unable to. Right. So I need all of this power, all 4 of this power to move over to get 8 coins so that I can upgrade ship twice. I'm pretty nervous. So Simone B puts his priest to water. But I am able to get a 2 spot on water. Like it wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have worked if I didn't get the water spot because I can only get 1 power from going up on fire. It's silliness, but I was freaking out. I was freaking out. But yeah, everything's working out well. I have 2 priests. I'm going to put my priest to water, or sorry, my 2 cult steps on water. And we're just kind of playing out the round. Let's see. I upgrade ship once. Mellison builds his stronghold, towning for his 3rd town. He also takes the 8-point town so that he can single dig and catch Simon B on network because yeah, we're all going to be, I'm going to be at 14, Nomad's at 15, and these 2 at 13. All right, so that's the game. I pass for 8. Everybody passes for good points on their point scrolls. I'm able to win 2 cults and tie for first on another cult with just 2 priests to cult, which is pretty awesome. I guess like that's the Auren Stronghold for you there, plus 2 8-point towns. And yeah, so I do pretty well on cults. I get 2nd on network. You know, I have 1 scoring favor, Earth 1, that I don't get till the end of round 4. Yeah, my temple is not built till round 4. I don't have any priest really the whole game, which was concerning, but it worked out okay. I am able to win just barely. Simone B is pretty close behind. But that's my pretty interesting Auren game. I think that it's kind of unique that, you know, you don't get a temple till pretty late. The other thing that I kind of noticed at the end is that I actually didn't get a single coins action the whole game. Everybody else splits the coins action evenly amongst themselves. They all get it twice. The other thing is that I actually hog the dig scroll the whole game. I get it round 1, round 3, round 5. Nobody else gets it. So that's kind of interesting. You know, green and blue, if you want to be, you know, competitive on network, you really need to like hunt digs And you know, air 2 let me do that. Like being pretty like greedy with the dig scroll let me do that. I didn't get many points on passing, like many pass points. But I do play the track really hard. Let's see if this will show up. Yeah, one thing of note, I do get 48 track points, which is it's a lot for me. Although admittedly, like I do really like playing track heavy. Only 12 points from Earth 1. Which like, you know, like I did get Earth 1. It's like if I had gotten Water 1, like if I had done what I was supposed to do, which is like go up on air first and then like TP temple in like with Simone Bia's neighbor in the south there. If I had done that, I would have gotten just as many points. So Water 1, Earth 1, it would have been, either one would have been fine. But after I bungled that Water 1 thing, then it was really lucky that I was able to get Earth 1. Yeah, so pass points, everybody else did like a whole lot better. Like, you know, Simone B gets 28. Mellison, of course, with as mermaids, unsurprisingly, gets a lot of pass points with like the ship scroll and everything. So yeah, area scoring 12 points, cult scoring 24 points. So like, that's pretty solid for me. I'm not a good cult player again. So I'm pretty, this was like a very fun Auren game. Ever since International Clash, I've been influenced by Deep Finesse's love of Auren. I don't know if this is like common knowledge, but like the dude loves Auren. He's always like, how about Auren? How about Auren? Let's put Auren in. So after that, I've been like, maybe Auren's not so bad. And then I like immediately after like one of the International Clash games, I started an Auren game and got 4th place. It was pretty miserable, like really miserable. I just messed it up so many times. I didn't realize that like Auren was a game with like skill and you actually have to really like think about it. But even this game, right, I messed up a lot. Like I made a lot of mistakes. So I'm still learning. I'm hopefully improving, and I hope everybody found my game interesting. So yeah, that was my best game, or my most recent somewhat interesting game, coming at you here from Jekyl. Thanks for watching, everybody.